Okay, so once you're working on Git and you want to get going, what you're going to want to do is follow this general workflow. First thing I do, if I haven't begun working yet for the day, I open the folder that has my local copy of the repository. I get the path to my folder and I copy it. I open up Git Bash, and then I want to change directories to the path, and that's to the local repository. And you use this command. It's cd for change directory, and I like to put single quotes because if you have a space in any of your folders, you need it surrounded with quotes. Okay, and if you don't put it around quotes, it won't work. And then once I've done that, the first thing, now this is a step that if you work with a team or you're working with different local repositories, maybe you have one at home, one at work, and then possibly you've got some other location where you have a copy of it, it's always a good idea to take whatever the most recent thing is from the online repository, and we do it using the pull. It's git pull origin master. Origin represents the online repository. Master is the current master. Now, if you are using a different branch and you've given it a different name, like version 1.2 or something, you would say git pull origin 1.2. Next. Okay, I pull in the changes in case there's any updates that I need to get. So if I've been working at, and I'll just go back a step. If I've been working at home and I push my changes and I know that the online repo is the most current and I get to work and I want to get those changes, I'm going to have to pull them. So I always pull them, and then it should merge with what you currently have, or it may say that there's really nothing to do because it's already up to date. Then what you want to do is work on your project. Okay, you work on your project. Maybe you solve one requirement of your project, or maybe you just get one thing working. And I would just do something. I would make sure that there's no errors in my code. In other words, I should say no syntax errors and no really blatant runtime errors. Now, there's probably going to be bugs in your code. That's why you're working on it anyway, and it's going to be incomplete. So you can't wait till everything's done. That's just not going to make much sense. Why would you be doing this process anyway? So what you really want to do is get to a point where you can at least, it's runnable and you've done something. At that point, once you're done and you've sort of tested that there's no really blatant things going on, it's time to do a stage and then a commit to your changes. So it begins with staging. The main command is git add dot. Now, you could put, if it's just a single file that you've changed, you could do it by the file name. However, git add dot means add everything, and I like to do it that way. So that's my standard way of just staging all of my changes. And then I'm going to do a git commit. I add the -m. It's a flag to say I have a message I want to add. And then I write whatever my commit message was. It's what I did. I want to be succinct. I don't want it to be too verbose. I don't want to have a big long paragraph explaining what I did. I want it short. Next, once I've staged and committed my changes, it's time to push it to the repo. So you choose git push origin master. Again, master being whatever your current local branch is. Okay, if you're working on a different branch, you want to push origin and then whatever that branch name is. And that's it. Sorry, wrong screen. So let's go ahead and do that in Git and follow this same format. All right, guys, at this point, this is the folder. I can see the git ignore file, my own Python file. I'm going to right-click and copy that address. And then I'm going to open up Git Bash. I didn't have to, but I just thought I'd do that. So I open up Git, and I want to change the directory, single quote, right-click to paste, single quote, hit enter. Notice it says master. First thing I want to do is pull from the repository. Git pull origin master. Okay, it tells me it's already up to date. That means there's no difference between the online repo and my local repo. So I'm ready to start working. So I'm going to go into this folder. I'm going to add a README file. And it's just going to be a simple file about the project. So I'm going to right-click, choose New, and I'm going to create a new text document, call it README, all caps, and I'm going to change it to .md. And I'm going to tell it, yes, I did want to change it to README, and I'm going to edit this in Notepad++. And it should be blank to begin with. All right, guys, on a README, you're just basically explaining what your document is about or what your project is about. One of the interesting things about GitHub is they have a thing called markdown, and you can, with certain formatting in text, you can do things like create headings. So if you do a 1 comment, it's like using a header 1 tag. If you use 2 of these, it's like a second header. So watch what I do here. I go over here and I put a single one here and I call it the, what did I call this one? RPG battle. All right. And I'm going to put here table of contents. Okay, so I'm just going to save this as my README file. This should be a header level 1. This is a header level 2. In fact, I might just take that out and just do it like a standard paragraph. And then I'm going to have a table of contents, in which case all I really have right now is this little file here called whileloops.py. In fact, I'm going to change that file name here because it's really an RPG battle. So I'm going to change it to match this. And you're going to see some changes in Git. Okay, so I've changed the file, so I'm going to put that on here. And 1 second. Okay, now watch what I do here. I'm going to turn this into a list. So I'm going to put a little star here, space, and RPG battle.py. Main file. Okay, so there is my README so far. Not a lot on there, just a title, table of contents. Now, I'm going to go back. I've made my changes. I think I like what it is. I'm going to go ahead and go to Git. And now watch what I do. I'm going to do a Git Status. What status does is it tells me what's going on. And in essence, I renamed the file whileloops.py to rpgbattle.py. Now, if you notice here, if you delete a file or change its name, you need to remove the old name because we don't need to track it anymore. So we're going to use the git rm. So we're going to remove that file, git rm whileloops.py. Now, Git Status. Watch what happens. I no longer, see now it's green. What that means is I've staged that commit. These two are untracked, uncommitted. So we're going to add those two. And if you see here, it says we can use git add in the file name. But instead, I'm going to do git add dot like I showed you. And I'm going to do the status again. And now you'll see that it considers README a new file, and that whileloops is now renamed to RPG Battle. It's smart enough, it knows that's what I did. Okay, so add dot adds all new changes. I did have to remove the old one, whileloops, or it was going to yell at me. Normally, you're not doing a lot of removing, but at least now you know how to. So now all we need to do is commit our changes. So it's git commit -m, and we're going to add a little thing. Added README and renamed whileloops. Can I recommend that your Git message, your commit message should not really be any longer than this? If it's taken you more to write it, you're not being concise enough. But don't be just like blah, 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 where it doesn't tell you anything. You should at least say what you did. Okay, the whole point of doing a commit message is so you can look at your history of commits and know what you did. So I go ahead and hit enter. Now, if I do git status, it shows me that I'm on the branch master and I'm ahead of the origin master by 1 commit. In other words, I've made changes and my repository online needs those changes. So that's why it says git push. So finally, we do git push origin master, Now it's going to ask for my username and password. Now, you might have heard my typing, but you didn't see anything. Just trust that it worked. And hopefully I got it right, and it looks like I did. So now what I want to do is I want to go to that project online, see if I can find it, and see how it worked. So here I am. I'm on GitHub. I've clicked on all my repositories, and I can see RPG Battle Program. I'm going to click on here. And now you'll see I have a third commit. If I click on the README, look what it did. It actually styled mine using what's called the GitHub version of Markdown. So let's just compare these two. It's pretty cool to watch the two different flavors of what I did. So you'll see here, $1 gives me nice big bold header one. Nothing gives me standard one here, which is the paragraph. And then 2 of the hashtags or $signs gives me a header level 2. And then a star with the space gives me a bullet item. So it's pretty cool. It's got a little formatting to it on the README. So, and I'm just going to leave you with this. Let's take a look at our sets of commits. And we can see I had initial commit, added while loops, added README, renamed while loops. You know, if I can read that commit message and understand generally what I did a good job in my commit message. So at this point, everything should be up to date. Let's just test it with the Git Status. On branch master, nothing to commit, working directory clean. That's where I want to be. And I want to be on that when I'm done working at the end of the day. Okay, now I can tell you later on later tutorials other things like how do we create new branches, how do we merge, but for now this is a good way to go. Try to get everything kind of up to date where to go there.